What's up? Hey Shorty, welcome to the live stream. I'm currently just testing out my new computer with live streams because my Mac did not do it. It couldn't do it. So I'm just really curious today if I can actually get uh, this working and how it will work. So yeah, thanks for joining in, and yeah, I hope we can make this a fun and short stream. Hey Crab. So I got some questions already. I already asked some of you guys if you had any questions for me, and I did see Crab that you asked me about anime. So why not? I'll answer that one. So Crab asked me if I like anime, and the basic answer is yes. I've watched a lot of anime and I read a lot of manga, and I have some favorites. Currently, I'm watching The Legend of Korra, and it's quite cool. It's like not amazing, but it's fine. I like it. It's fair anime. It's been pretty fun. Um, my favorite anime is probably Bakemonogatari, and it's a bit of an obscure one, but I really enjoy it for all the witty conversations. Like the dialogue of Bakemonogatari is amazing, and also how it's drawn. It's the art is fantastic. It's drawn from the main character's perspective, so it's really twisted and obscure, and I like it's yeah, it's pure art. That's not an anime. That's just 100% art. Uh, and yeah, besides that, I of course when I was a kid, I really loved Naruto and quite enjoyed One Piece. And I just fell off it because it got too long at some point. I also, of course, like the Death Note. I've seen that one like 3 times over because it's so fun to see two NT villains go at each other. It's just seeing the mind games of Death Note. If you don't familiar with it, I recommend you watch it. Death Note is about a man that acquires the power to kill people just by writing down their name in a notebook, and he decides to use that power to eradicate evil, to kill criminals and wrongdoers. And of course, this is really morally messed up for many reasons. So the police goes on a high crusade to stop him from becoming basically God. Um, and that's just really cool. Anyways, that's do I like anime? That was the question from Crab. Uh, I also got the question if my name is really Thor. And yeah, it's my name. It's a normal name in Sweden. I'm from Sweden. I live in the Netherlands, but I'm from Sweden. And Thor is one of the Nordic gods, but it's also just a common family name. And it's a common name overall. There's lots of people called Thor in Sweden. There's thousands, actually, I think, that are called Thor. So it's not that odd. It's just an Old Norse name. So um, it just stuck. My dad is called Thor, and I understood that we took the name Thor. I did some research on it. The reason why my family is called Thor is because my great great grandpa, like in the 1600s, became a soldier, and they asked him to pick a short name for himself. It had to be like a four-letter word. And then you got all these god names. You got Odin's and yeah, all those people. So it's an old soldier name. Um, Ron asks, with SE inferior, are you insecure of giving people bad experience? So, if you are an SE inferior, somebody with weak extroverted sensing, so an INFJ or an INTJ, do you feel insecure about giving people a bad experience? That's a good question. I don't know if an INTJ would feel that way. I think extroverted sensing is very visual, and yeah, it's a very visceral cognitive function. I'm INFJs and INTJs, they're pretty wrapped up in their own mind. Like, we are good at imagining things inside our own head, but we are pretty blind to what's happening outside us. So what I see is for INTJs, it can be very different from INFJs. But what I notice is INTJs, they really struggle with their how they look and with their body and their appearance and how they are experienced. So I see INTJs that work really hard to make up for that, and I see INTJs that kind of rebel against that. So I see INTJs that they just really don't try to look good. They really don't care about their appearance. So they really just go against all of that and just take on kind of a rebel persona, just to develop kind of a startling experience. I think INFJs that with extroverted feeling in the stack, we are a bit more concerned with giving people a good experience. So I think the answer is extroverted feeling makes you concerned with people's experience, not extroverted sensing. Crab, correct. Yeah, I did make a One Piece character analysis thing. That was like my first video online. Like my oldest video is a One Piece character analysis. So that was like 5 years ago or something. I released breaking down the One Piece characters by MBTI type. Probably I had it all wrong. I remember I typed Luffy as an ESFP. I think I would still stick by that. Yeah. Shorty asks, what is the INFP's relationship with extroverted intuition? Okay, that's a good one. So extroverted intuition is the secondary function for an INFP. That means it's a function that they strive to be good at, but they're not naturally good at. So INFPs, they work hard to be good at extroverted intuition and to push themselves to take risks and to try out new things. And it requires a push. So as an INFP, you have to really encourage yourself and you have to be brave to access extroverted intuition. If you struggle with extroverted intuition, it's because you're not being brave enough. You don't have enough courage to put in the work to put that function out, because that's the vulnerable function. Using extroverted intuition as an INFP, you feel really nervous. Like it's like you worry about coming across as silly or doing something stupid or saying something you shouldn't have. So INFPs and INTPs, they have that like worry. What if I say something I shouldn't have? What if I try something out and it blows up in my face? But they really want to do it. It's what they keep thinking about doing. So it can cause this loop of some INFPs and INTPs, they're really inhibited and they really think about and daydream about constantly making changes in their lives and they never do anything. Some INFPs and INTPs, they're very brave and they really just try to do things, but they also feel silly whenever they do. So they keep saying sorry, sorry if I'm a bit weird, sorry if I'm a bit quirky or so. You can tell that they're not 100% on it. Yeah, the ideal is as an INFP, you grow to use this function and to be proud of it and to enjoy it and to, not just make it into something silly or weird or random, but also to make it something real and something meaningful for yourself. Volt asks if I have a hammer, and I do have a hammer to put up paintings. But I don't have a hammer that shoots lightning and I cannot throw it away, and if I throw it away it will not come back to me. So sadly I didn't get that one. Ron asks how I experienced the ISTJ superego. So basically what you're saying is an INFJ has an ISTJ superego. I'm not sure if I agree with that. I think that's more socionics. But I will share my perspective on it, how INFJs experience SI and TE. So from my point of view, as INFJs go into an ISTJ-like state when they are overwhelmed to escape. They find themselves hiding in a comfortable routine, every day the same, just focusing on work, just focusing on practical things that are easy and simple, because SI is easy for an INFJ. It's pointless, you don't do it well, you're not great at it, but it's easy, so it's a comfortable escape. So INFJs, they go into this to escape from life, and I went into SI during Corona and COVID for sure. I was very much more in the secure, practical state, and I was hiding in it because I struggled to be present and I struggled to put myself out there, and I was a bit messed up by this whole experience. Rachello, thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate it. That's really sweet of you. I got the question, from uh, Voltaire, that it's yay as in yay. Uh, INFJ. Yeah, fair enough. I'm not sure if I will ever learn that. 10 years into the MBTI and I still cannot pronounce yay in English. In Sweden we say INFJ, so that's very different. Um, Krav says he cares a lot about giving people a good experience, honestly. Yeah, yeah. It's a good thing to tune out of sometimes. Care about giving yourself a good experience too. I am an INFJ. How do I view the delta quadrant in socionics? Sorry, Ron, I'm not an socionics expert, so I can't answer that. Ilger says, do we know that all cognitive functions are good in their own way? But do you have favorite functions and why? My favorite functions in other people are FI. I really admire FI. I think FI is badass. It's really cool function, so that's a function I also strive to develop more in myself. I can tell that I struggle with FI. I'm really out of tune with myself, my own needs, my own identity, and I mold myself around other people very easily, and I forget about who I am and all of that. So I'm really working on my FI. So if you have any resources on how to improve your FI as an INFJ, or if you have any tips for that, I appreciate it because I'm really looking into that, right? And that's something I really want to work on in myself. Honestly, I've had a bit of an FI crisis lately. Because honestly, I'm quite a people pleaser. Would I marry an INTJ? Asks Eve Wang. And the answer is, I like INTJs. I'm partial to INTJs. It's one of the types I get along with the best. And honestly, it's possible. If it was the right person, I could marry an INTJ. If yeah, if it was the right INTJ, that's just it. I don't have a specific type that I'm looking for when in dating or so, thinking, oh, I need to date this type. I have some types that I think I would get along with better. But I don't have one specific type that I think is my ideal match. I think my ideal match is a person with a certain level of maturity and a certain set of experiences and personal values and morals that they have come to on their own, regardless of their personality type. So, yeah, the right kind of INTJ. Roy says he's an INTJ and got into bodybuilding a year ago. Oh, that sounds cool. It's not for me. I have not really been very sportsy. Never really. Honest and brutal thoughts about ISTJs. ISTJs, they're also one of the types I'm partial to. Honestly, the ISTJs that I know, I respect immensely. I find them to be super reliable. It's one of the types I like best. At work, especially at work, I really respect ISTJs. But the honest, raw truth about ISTJs is ISTJs, they start up conflicts for no reason. They get themselves into stuff. They have misunderstandings. They misread human communication easily. They read into people negative intentions and things that are not there. So I've had a few arguments with ISTJs as well. But ISTJs, they are one of my favorite types. From the sensing types, they're definitely probably one of my favorite ones. I've had arguments with ISTJs that have been pretty bad and based on stupid misunderstandings. But I've been able to smooth it out every time, and they are still one of the types that I trust the most and respect the most. So it's a type that's easy for me to connect with in that way. Volt asks what the worst thing is about being INFP. The worst thing about INFPs is about being an INFP is I think you start life on difficulty hard. INFPs, they're going to have it more difficult to get adjusted into life than other personality types, especially compared to an ESTJ, for example. that's just the honest truth. It's not going to be as easy for you as an INFP to settle in with the priorities of the world and with what the world expects from you in terms of work, career, ambition. Uh, it's not easy for you. So that's the worst thing about being an INFP, that you're going to have to adjust and compromise yourself a lot in order to fit in with the world, at least in the beginning. And it's going to take a long time before you can really get set up. And what can you do about that? Well, my main advice for you is um, to create as much room for yourself to be yourself as possible. You might have to get a 40-hour work job, you know, a boring, mundane, routine job that doesn't fit you. You might have to settle for a bit, for a while, but find ways to create space for yourself. And at work and in your personal life, give yourself the time to do what you love as much as possible. If it's 8 hours a week, you can take off. If it's going down to 32 hours, if it's finding a way to do your hobby or passion part-time, if it's being able to speak to your manager and get support and assistance and help in promoting and developing your own projects, you know, ask for help, because a lot of people are going to want to help you as an INFP, and a lot of people are going to admire you and want you to succeed and want to help you in getting, because they know it's not easy for you, and they know they're not always asking fair things from you, and they know that you have talent, and they see that you have purpose and passion, and they admire that. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Do you think INFPs would do well in dating? For sure. I think INFPs can make great partners, and I think a lot of people are attracted to INFPs and dream of dating INFPs. It's probably one of the most heavily sought after personality types, at least female INFPs. I think probably one of the most sought after personality types, because a lot of people associate INFPs with the mysterious air. They think of them as deep, like precious, and talented and unique. If you're constantly being served, you know, the media ideal today, the perfect person, you know, polished, everything, I think people are kind of bored with that today. And I think that's why I think INFPs come off as an attractive option. If the question is if INFPs are good at dating, though, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure if INFPs are good at dating. That's a more big question, honestly. Do you think INFPs are good at dating? Roy says he has low conscientiousness as an INTJ, struggling with apathy and procrastination. Is that common for INTJs? Yes, that does contradict the stereotype, because INTJs have extroverted thinking, and extroverted thinking can kind of be like that push. Get out, get things done, do work, be productive, work hard. If you have strong extroverted thinking as an INTJ, and if you come in touch with that function, you should have no problem getting out of apathy and getting things done. Because I think INTJs and ISTJs, they're pretty stoic, so even if they don't see a purpose to life and to work and whatever, they can still tell themselves to get out and do it. You know, even if they can complain that, oh, this is shit and this capitalist system is terrible and I hate it, they'll still get out and do the work. And that's extroverted thinking for you, you know. Extroverted thinking helps you kind of cut off your emotions and just get to work and get things done. So if you feel that that is a big conflict for you, maybe you should look into INTP. INTPs, they spend a lot more time analyzing their decisions and what to do in life, and that can lead to apathy and decision-making anxiety. So perhaps you're an INTP. INTJs, they are quite conscientious. INTJs, they like to have control and to be in control of things. So they tend to want to be in control of their own lives, to be independent, responsible, to meet deadlines without anybody telling them to, you know. There are lots of things there that don't fit with an INTJ, with a typical INTJ. But, of course, you could also be a depressed or moody INTJ. You could be going through something that is keeping you from yourself. So just look at that. Think about that. Are you this way because you're a bit in a depressed state or a bit off key? Or are you in other functions completely? Volt says, I have zero conscientiousness. What should I do? I think you should take another test because I can't imagine a person with zero conscientiousness. Shorty says, I'm awesome at dating. I'm an INFP and I'm good at it. Okay, good to know. Well, then I guess we're all in luck. I do think INFPs can be quite forward with dating and can be quite thoughtful and good listeners, so I can see them being good at it. But I can also see some INFPs being a bit prone to daydreaming and forgetting about other people and getting too caught up in their own feelings and situation. So they're struggling to make room for another partner or person in their life. So I think you can get both. How do you know if you're an INFP 4 or 9? Well, first you can relate to both. You can, because they're in different centers. You can be a 9 when it comes to dealing with anger and conflict. And you can be a 4 when it comes to dealing with shame and identity. So you can relate to both depending on what you're going through. But an INFP 4 will find that shame is a bigger drive in their life. And that INFP 9 will find that anger, or rather the lack of or avoidance of anger, is a bigger factor in their life. So if you find that you're more conflict avoidant, if you prefer escaping to a perfect harmonious world away from everyone, if you struggle to voice your opinions, you're probably an INFP 9. If you're an INFP that is quite a rebel, a person that goes to the marshes to the beat of your own drum, an INFP that has no problem expressing their opinions, even if it puts themselves at odds with the group, you're probably an INFP 4. How do you start caring as a nihilist? Sorry. How do I start caring as a nihilist? You start doing stuff, and caring comes later. That's the honest truth of it. Do stuff first and care later. A lot of time you don't, if you're too abstracted from the world, if you're too much in your own head, you're also going to find yourself too abstracted from your own feelings. So if you're not feeling anything, if the world feels gray, it's probably because you're not doing important stuff. So do important stuff and let yourself care about it later. It will come, I promise you. It comes with getting invested in things. It comes with developing attachments to things. Eve says she admires FE as a FI user. It's good to know. I'm glad to hear that. If I was another personality type, which one would I be? The answer is INFP. I think INFP would be the most likely logical second option for me. Introspective like an INFP, and I relate to a lot of the superficial traits of INFPs. I recently made a list of all the things I relate to in INFPs, and it was quite a lot actually. But I don't relate to introverted feeling, and that's where it falls apart. But I do relate to the interests and hobbies and lifestyles of INFPs, and I can come off as a bit INFP-ish at times. What advice would I give to an ENFP 8 wing 7? Patricia. I would say separate between challenge and opportunity. You want to, as an ENFP, live for the ability to realize opportunities and dreams. You don't want to live for the desire to just complete a challenge or to succeed at a project just for the sake of it. So learn to find the right drive, because if you're doing things for the sake of having new opportunities and experiencing all the wonders of life and learning new things, you're going to be all good. You're going to find yourself getting energy, joy, passion, motivation, learning, and new experiences. And you're going to have a good life for that. But if you find yourself focused on challenges and just the pursuit of overcoming challenges, you're going to find yourself focused on the wrong thing, because it's not the challenge itself that is going to give you energy or joy or passion. In fact, the challenge is going to mess you up at times. It's going to be like It's gonna cause you to flip. It's gonna cause you to have low and high days. It's gonna cause you to overexert yourself. It's gonna cause you to crash. So learn to separate between those two drives. Learn to focus on the right thing. Challenge is necessary and important and healthy, but opportunity is why you do it. That's the core motivation. So focus on the core motivation. ENFP, not 8. Do INTJ and INFP go nice together? Yes. Cheryl says she's an ENFP with 84% extroversion. That's not how it works. So first of all, when you get 84% on extroversion, that doesn't mean you're 84% extroverted. It just means the test thinks it's 84% likely that you're an extrovert. So you see how it works, that's how it goes. It's just a prediction rate. It's not that you're 84% extroverted. Because if you're 84% extroverted, then you're only 16% introverted. That suggests that you spend 84% time focused on the objective world and only 16% focused on the inner world. And honestly, that sounds deeply unhealthy. Carl Jung, he also saw that most people function closer to the middle than what they think. So even if there are introverts and extroverts, most introverts, they're like 40% extroverted and 60% introverted, somewhere in between that range. It's very rare to meet people that are extremely extroverted. Very few people are truly extroverted. Most people are closer to ambiverted or somewhere in between. And the question of are ENFPs the most introverted of the extroverts? That's a generalization, so don't worry about that. You can be a very extroverted ENFP. Most ENFPs are extroverts, but observant extroverts. So ENFPs, they are rarely outgoing, but they're very open-minded. ENFPs, they enjoy conversations with a group, talking with different people, learning about all kinds of different people in the world, and exploring new projects in the outer world, and being busy with things. But they're not necessarily very outgoing, so they often let other people make the first move. That means as an ENFP, you prefer it when other people come and talk to you than when you come and introduce yourself to another person, because you're a bit shy. You think, oh, what does this person think about me? You like to respond and think and analyze people. So that's why people say ENFPs are a bit more on the introverted end, because what people see is, okay, ENFPs, they love having good, deep conversations with others, and they can get super into it, but they need other people to make the first move. That's just it. Shorty says, to be good at FI, you have to be honest with yourself and accept yourself and know that all aspects of yourself are not good and it's okay. I like that. Yeah, that's true. Thank you for sharing that with me. Patricia, thank you so much for the £5. I really appreciate the donation. You guys are great. Also, Cheryl. Yeah, you're all awesome. God damn it, I'm not able to keep up with you all. There's too many questions. Jake says, I want to donate something, but I'm homeless with minus $300 in your bank account. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Jake. I hope that things turn around for you soon. Don't worry about it. I'm just happy to have you here. What is the best way to tell an ENFP and ESFP apart? These two are confused due to intuitive bias. Correct. You can tell you're an ESFP if you have no problem being present. You can tell you're an ENFP if you're constantly looking at what's next. I mean, if you get an ESFP and an ENFP in a group chat, the ESFP is going to be like enjoying the moment and taking the energy and what's happening. The ENFP is going to be like more a sense of, oh, this is fun, but where should we go next? What should we do after this? Their minds are always focused on the next steps. And that can be a big difference between the two types. Mena says, I'm an INFP attracted to an ENTP. Is that a good match? I think it's a good match. I think it's definitely with its challenges though. But I can see that's why you also feel attracted to the ENTP. I can understand why the challenge of that can be attractive. I think INFPs and ENTPs, I think an ENTP can appreciate that you are a person with strong identity and conviction, but I think an ENTP can hit against the fact that you're a bit more sensitive. So as an ENTP, it might be difficult to deal with that. You don't respond to their jokes or their comments or criticism the way they expect, because they like to be able to talk openly about things. They don't like to when people respond to things emotionally or avoid things or escape. So they might struggle with that, and you might struggle with the fact that they can struggle to think about and consider your perspective and feelings and how you need to be spoken to. You might prefer that people can speak to you a bit more softly. So that's the challenge. But I think you're gonna enjoy to have an intuitive partner that you can have fun conversations with, and somebody that can be exciting and different, and somebody that can, just get you to see different perspectives. I'm happy thinking about a project, but when it comes to realize them, it's just a nightmare. My advice for you is get minions. Get a few minions, people that will just do whatever you need them to do. So come up with a project and then make sure other people get it done for you. That's my advice. If you can get minions, you're all good. Then you just have the idea and then you just let other people finish it. I've seen a lot of ENFPs and ENTPs do that. Mohammed asks, can an INTP be bad at math and chemistry, even though they have excellent minds? I think an INTP needs a point to be good at anything. So if you don't see the point of it, you're not going to be good at it. INTPs, they need a point to things. They need a teacher to tell them, why am I learning math? Why am I learning chemistry? And they need to hear that, okay, there's a logical explanation for this. There's an interesting reason for me to do this. Okay, then I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to do it. But otherwise, without that, it's going to be like, why am I learning this? What's the point? Milvidas asks if there is a way to ask private questions on Discord, for example. I am on Discord, but you can best reach me on Patreon. So drop into patreon.com/Erik Thor. And send me a message there. And I'll try to answer it, whatever it is. And yeah, you can also send me an email. Are INFPs happier with quarantine because they are introverts? I think what the introverts have to watch out for in quarantine days is even though you enjoy peace and quiet and being in your own mind and your own head, you need mental stimulation, new things, new experiences, or your mind stagnates, you become static, you get lost in a routine, every day feels the same, there is no point. So it can be really toxic and really harmful for an INFP to be in quarantine, because it can really keep you from going out and getting new energy and getting new perspective. It can cause you to feel stuck inside your own head, because at some point, while it's interesting to listen to your own voice, at some point you get tired of it. It's like, yeah, I know this, I felt this so many times, but I don't know what to do about it. So sometimes you need to go out and try new things. So I'm not sure how well introverts have handled Corona. I can tell from a personal perspective as an INFJ, I did not come out of Corona mentally well. I did not deal with Corona well. I did not feel good. I did not feel healthy or happy. And I don't think a lot of INFPs or introverts felt happy with it. Someone, everyone writes my name with a C. And if you're an American, I completely get it. No harm done. The difference between an INFP 6 and an INFP 9. Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one. So the INFP 6 and the INFP 9, they're different because the 6 is driven by anxiety, 9 by anger, or rather avoiding anger. So the 6 INFP is constantly worried about different outcomes. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if this goes on? INFP 6s, they're also more concerned with competence. Am I competent enough? Can I handle this? Am I good enough? Am I worthy enough? You know, those kind of questions can really hit you as an INFP 6. An INFP 9 is a bit more avoidant, a bit more doesn't even want to think about negative things or bad outcomes. They just keep things focused on the positive. Everything is great, everything's okay. I just have my own happy personal reality. So they don't worry much. But the INFP 9 during stress becomes an Enneagram 6. uh, so INFP 9s can relate to 6s at their worst. Under stress, the INFP 9 disintegrates to 6. That means you collapse, you feel worthless, incompetent, stupid, you feel there's expectations you cannot reach or live up to anymore. You start noticing, worrying about everything. You start imagining the worst outcome possible. So, yeah. Yaya says, my friend, INFJ, 22 years old, is having big time financial trouble and family health issues, so she can't concentrate on career and can't work productively. I'm an ENFP. First of all, it's really sweet that you want to support your friend through these difficult times. Um, the only thing I can tell you is tell your friend it's okay to let go of things that are weighing on her at the moment. So if she is overwhelmed at the moment, which I can really imagine that she is, uh, just tell her it's okay to let go of family or friends or responsibilities or commitments and to put that on hold for a bit. Maybe she can even talk to her manager and explain that something is going on right now and I need a month or some time to catch up, but I promise I will get back to you. And just make sure that you can have that conversation openly or with her family members that it's going to be really hard for me because I have so much going on for myself right now. So I might not be able to fully be present in this or that aspect. So just help her prioritize and tell her it's okay. She can't please everyone. She can't be perfect. She can't do everything at once. She will have to work through things one at a time. So just tell her that's okay. Andy says that he mentioned me in a video he made recently, and that I helped you a lot, and thanks for that. Thank you, Andy. I appreciate that. And just if you want, send me the video, or if you ever make cool things, just share it with me, because I also enjoy watching community videos. I watch a lot of MBTI videos online. Um, I spend maybe an hour on YouTube every day watching other people's videos. So I'm not just a person making videos, I'm also watching things and I also enjoy seeing things. So if you make things, yeah, don't be afraid to share it with me. I might not watch it immediately, but I put it on my list and I'll look into it. Somebody says, I think the MBTI is more social and Carl Jung's functions are analytical psychology. Yeah, that's true. The MBTI is much more focused on just interactions, relationships, just the quick fun. Oh, you're a bit more shy or a bit more outgoing. Carl Jung was looking purely at the mental stuff. How do you think? Why do you do things? Uh, so cognitive function theory is completely different from MBTI theory, um, and you can use it completely differently. Sorry, I'm not able to answer every question, by the way. If I do miss it, just post it again. If I missed your question, you share it one more time. I There are so many questions right now, and I want to make sure I give everyone a good answer, not just a quick answer, but a real answer. So, yeah. Anna says she hates the stereotype of the sweet INFP. I think all stereotypes suck, to be honest. Um, I can understand that you get sick of it after a while, because when you read MBTI the first time, it's like fun and haha and so on. But at some point, it gets like, I read this a million times, and I know it's uh, over exaggeration. I know it's not real. I know not all INFPs are like that, or not all INFJs are like that. It gets very limiting after a while, and that's at some point you have to get off the textbook descriptions, the things, and start watching real videos, real INFPs, real INTPs, real types. Just hear people, see what they say, see what they think. Just go in depth. Just start looking underneath the surface, because the surface is a lie a lot of the time, and what you see inside, that's much more real. Does an INTP in socionics always equal INTJ? No, socionics is a different system, so it's not always the same outcome. I'm not an expert on socionics, so I think you're better talking with socionics about it. But they're not necessarily the same. They can be, but they don't have to be. Female ENFP type 7 in a relationship with a male ESFJ type 6. I think as an ENFP type 7, I think I can understand that the connection to extroverted feeling is really nice. It's really nice to have somebody that makes you feel cared for and loved and supported, and I think ESFJs can really do that. I can also feel that as an ENFP, you might sometimes feel a bit controlled by the ESFJ, like they're kind of sometimes a bit manipulative, not always in a bad way, but sometimes they're just trying to make sure you get to a certain place at a certain time, and they can get kind of pushy about making sure that you honor commitments and show up in a certain time and do things in a certain way, and that can be a bit difficult. And also as an ENFP, you want to have the freedom to be yourself, so make sure that the ESFJ gives you room to be yourself, and yeah, I would say that's something very important. How does the feelings of an INFP differ from an INFJ? Well, first of all, Mikey, I would say an INFJ, when I talk about feelings, this is kind of bizarre, but when I open up about how I feel to people, I still sound like a robot. I talk about my feelings in a very detached manner. I don't cry. I just say, oh, I'm going through this, and this is difficult for me, and I struggle with that, and I find that hard. And it's not even natural for me. It doesn't even feel natural for me to share my emotions or experiences, and it feels very weird for me. I have emotions, all types have emotions, and I think we all have the same emotions, no matter what type we are. We will still struggle with the same basic emotions, anger, shame, fear, anxiety. We all go through the same emotions, no matter what type we are. It's just how we deal with it is different. As an INFJ, you get very problem-solving oriented. So as an INFJ, I don't think so much about my emotions, but I think about how to fix my emotions. And I go immediately to that stage. It's not, oh, how am I feeling? It's more like, okay, I need to fix this. I need to take care of that. And I need to make sure it's not a problem anymore. Oh, Andrea, thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate it. Andrea says, the best type is the ENFP because I am one. Oh, that's a real nice statement. The best type is the ENFP because I am one. Well, I like that you like yourself, and I think everyone should like themselves more. I know I made a YouTube short a few days ago where I was like, you love yourself, right? Because I think people forget that. I think sometimes the self-criticism that you put on and the negativity you have about yourself, it's not from you. You're just going through what you think other people think about you. So when you get down on yourself, it's not because you dislike yourself. It's because you think you need to dislike yourself. But that's why I think sometimes you should just remember that you actually do like yourself. You have chosen to live. You have chosen to live consciously, to be present, to have a career, to eat healthy, or to make semi-healthy choices in life, to have good relationships. Like what you're doing lifestyle-wise, unless you're really unhealthy and really struggling, I think that you're doing good for yourself. You're doing your best to take care of yourself, to go to bed at a certain hour, to get enough sleep, to make sure that you eat and drink. That you're doing everything you can to take care of yourself because you see yourself as somebody that needs to and should be taken care of, deserves to be taken care of. You want to be happy, and so I think you do like yourself. You do love yourself. You do want to care for yourself. So your habits and your actions, they say that you love yourself. Not perfectly, not always. You're not always making the right choices. Sometimes you self-sabotage, sometimes you do stupid things. But overall, you're working to grow yourself. You're studying the MBTI, you're trying to figure out yourself, you're trying to, do all these good things for yourself, to understand yourself better. And I think that means you do like yourself. So remember that, you do like yourself. You're not, yeah. Andrea says she's a type 7 ENFP dating an ISTJ type 6, and that was kind of disastrous. A lot of people date their opposites. Some people make it work, but I don't think it's for everyone. I think you want to date your opposite if you have had a very messy life and you need somebody that can make you feel safe. I think that's the pattern. What I'm seeing, people tend to date and look for their opposite when they've had really messy, difficult lives and they need a break. And they need somebody that can support them and have their back, somebody that can get shit out of their way, If there's something that keeps hitting against you as an ENFP, it's introverted sensing. So if you never had stability, if it's always been chaos around you, then I think an ISTJ can be very comforting. But if you haven't had that, if you do need a partner that can challenge you intellectually, a partner that can stimulate you, if you appreciate and like this chaos, if you want change in your life and you feel like that's a good lifestyle for you and important for you, then I think don't date an ISTJ. So just think about what it is you need. That's the most important. What do you need? Make a list. What is your ideal partner? What do you need in a relationship? What can a relationship give you? And I hope that will work for you. I want to say to all 55 viewers that are watching right now, you're amazing. And oh my God, I can't believe you're so many people in here at the moment. Seriously, what are you all doing here? Why are you watching this? I don't get it. There must be something else, right? There must be something fun out there to watch. I don't understand why you're watching me. But I do appreciate it. I appreciate that you're here. And yeah, I really enjoy talking to all of you. I do want to really connect more with the community and really build something together with people. So if you have any ideas for how we can get the community rolling, let me know. And once again, if you want to chat with me more, if you want to interact with me more, go to my Patreon page, patreon.com/Erik Thor, and ask me anything. Seriously, I have a lot of special services for patrons. I offer coaching. I have special videos exclusive that you can watch for patrons only. So I have a lot of content out there, and I also really try to make time for all my patrons. So if you have questions and you become a patron, I will always try to answer your question as fast as possible and to help you with whatever it is you're wondering about. MD says, knowing you're multilingual as am I, which personalities do you think are naturally gifted at learning languages? I'm thinking ones that are good at recognizing patterns with good memory. Oh, that's a good question. I like that one. What I've noticed the pattern is INTPs. They are great at languages, and I find that fascinating. And I find INFPs, they're also really good at languages. So I would say probably INFPs and INTPs are the most incredible with language. My cat wanted to come in and use the scratch board. So he was literally howling outside the door, scratching, let me in, let me in, let me use the scratch board. I've occupied his room for this live stream, so yeah. Um, if you heard somebody screaming in the back, that was my cat. Here you go. This is Marvel, the Black Danger. By the way, Marvel, he really looks like, you know, the dragon from How to Tame a Dragon. So he really looks like Toothless. I don't know if you agree, but I think he really looks like Toothless. A cat out of my window. I can see that. Yeah, he's really cute. Yaya asks, can an ENFP really survive a solitary confinement? Definitely not. But we did it. I mean, we're almost done. It's almost over, right? I can see the light. Here in the Netherlands, vaccinations are really slow. In Europe, Europeans are suffering, you know, behind the lack of vaccines. I have not gotten my vaccine yet. I am still waiting for my letter. If I get one, I will be there 1 second. I'm so ready to get back into life again. But I'm really envious of all the Americans that have gotten it already, and yeah, I hope that this is all soon behind us again. He really looks marvelous, right? He also, I find it cool that my name is Thor and his name is Marvel. It's also feels like a perfect match, you know? The perfect match. And I didn't even name him. It was not even I that named him, so it was just random. We just found each other's. Can ESFPs be Enneagram 9? I think so, yeah. I don't see why not, but I do think ESFPs more likely to be 7s. So, but I think you can be a 7-9. 7-9-4, I think it's a pretty normal combo for an ESFP. So you can definitely have a 9 there. Um, yeah, yeah. It sounds like a nice experiment. I mean, go ahead, try it and see how it feels. Just follow your process. I can see why you want to do it, and I can see why you want to try it, and I can definitely feel that it comes from a good place. So, don't be afraid. I mean, try things out and see how it feels. How would an INFJ go about finding out information about a person? Or how would they know something about a person's insecurities without directly asking? I'm an INFP with an INFJ friend. I not sure I understand your question. You're wondering how INFJs can go about finding information about people without asking them. Uh, so INFJs, they pick up on things all the time when they're in conversations with others. It's like they just feel things and they're hanging in the air. It's like they visualize and they're like, oh, so that person is struggling with that, or maybe they're wondering about this. But it's speculative. So what INFJs do is they speculate on people's emotions. Sometimes we do it correctly and sometimes incorrectly. So what INFJs need to do is ask a lot of questions. A healthy INFJ, the smart way to do it as an INFJ is don't assume to know other people or to think, okay, this person feels that way or thinks that way, because your perception can betray you. Instead, ask questions. Ground yourself, ground your reads with the other person. Do you feel this way? I'm picking up on this. Is that true? I get the feeling that you feel that way. Do I get that right? Or did I misunderstand something? Just let people correct your reads. Read people, speculate with them. Share what you're picking up on. Share your worries. Do you mean that? Do you feel that? Do you struggle with that? And see what they say. Have deep emotional conversations with people. Don't just hold it to yourself. But don't be afraid to actually talk with people and see with them how they are really feeling. "60 viewers. Jesus. What are you all doing here? I don't get it. Alexis says, "We watch you because you're such a cutie. You're so insightful. You feel like everyone's friend." I'm your friends. Of course I am. What is the difference between INFJs and INFPs when it comes to understanding people? I think INFJs and INFPs, they're both incredible at understanding people, but they come at it from different angles. The INFP's process is go inside, feel out, how do I feel about this? How would I respond in that person's situation? INFPs, they're constantly going over scenarios. What if I was that person? How would I respond? Or how would I deal with this situation? INFPs, they fantasize, they daydream, they ponder, other people's lives as if they were their own. And you put yourself in other people's shoes, and that's how you become good at reading people. Because you understand yourself well, you also understand other people well. Because a lot of, or most of human experience is shared. Most of the shit we're going through, we go through with everyone else. Everyone else can also feel and relate to us to some degree. So that's how INFPs do it, and that's really incredible. And I wish I did that more, honestly. I can see how that can give another perspective, and a very important one. What I do as an INFJ is I visualize in my own head, I theorize, I speculate, I use introverted thinking, I analyze, I think, could it be that way? Could it be that way? Could it work like this? I come up with theories about MBTI, about cognitive functions, about emotions, I define principles. People need to do that. People should be like this. People should work like that. And I come up with expectations and odds. This is how the world should be, and this is how people should feel, and this is how things should work. And I try to organize the human condition into nice compartments. I come up with all these nice boxes and labels. If you're in this situation, you should feel that way, and if you're that type, you should think about it like this. And that's how I go about it. So it's very different. There's a lot more TI in there, and we're both introspective types, so we both spend a lot of time thinking about stuff, and we enjoy thinking about people and their emotions and things like that. But the INFJ approach is a lot more analytical, where for an INFP it's a lot more about feeling the other person's feelings from your own perspective. David, I took your typing quiz and I got INTJ. Why do you think this could be happening as an ENFP 9 wing 1? So David, if you took my quiz and you got the wrong type, send me the link. Every time you take a test on my site, you get the personal anonymous link. You can just share it with me. I offer advanced extended results and analysis for anyone who needs it. And sometimes if you really struggle with tests, if tests are not for you, if you find it really hard to answer tests, I also have an open-ended questionnaire. So you can also just share, I just ask open questions, and you can just share your thoughts, and I can help you from there. See where you get lost, see where you come off, see where you end up. But why could it be happening? Why could you get INTJs and ENFP? Well, it could be that you're in a bit of a loop. You hit the wall on a project or something that was very important to you, and you got a bit stuck. That could be an explanation. It could be that you've been hurt recently. You had a difficult experience and you shut off your emotions. You went cold. You were like, I can't deal with this anymore. So you turn off your emotions. It could be that you're avoiding something. Nines are avoidant types. One of the most master avoiders. I'm a 9 myself, I know this. So it could be that you're avoiding something, or refusing to deal with or accept something in yourself. I mean, that could cause you to mistype. But once again, just send me your result. Send it over Patreon to patreon.com/Erik Thor, and I'll look at it. Oh, Simon! Hey, Simon. Uh, so Simon is one of my friends from Sweden. I appreciate having you in the chat, man. You're my brother too. Enjoy mod. You just became mod. Do you believe that MBTI can take over a person's life and make people start seeing only with their type MBTI? Yeah. The MBTI can become an unhealthy obsession. So really avoid letting the MBTI become an unhealthy obsession. The MBTI is a tool, that's all it is. You use the MBTI to figure things out, to see things from a different perspective, to hear theories about different personalities, to understand the different personality traits. But it's just a tool in the end. It's not all-end answer to anything. The labeling and the categorizing of people serves no purpose. You can quickly speed type and say that person is an INTP and that person is an INFJ and that person is an ENFJ. But why? For what point? That's not the point of it. The point is to have deep, real conversations with people. So to talk with an INTP and to understand what they value and what they enjoy and who they are. To discuss with people about their interests and passions. To figure out together in a relationship how you can function at your best together. That's why you want to learn MBTI. The labels, don't stress over them so much. Okay, it turns out your partner is not your ideal match according to popular theory. Who cares about it? Just figure out who your partner is and see your partner as they really are. And discuss your traits and who you are and what you feel and what you value and what's important to you. And yeah, see if you can come to a mutual understanding. Oh no, the Swedes are getting excited. Jesus. My accent, though. I've lived in the Netherlands for 4 years now, and I don't speak a lot of Swedish anymore, but I will never escape that. I think I will never go to a normal international accent. Maybe if I went to the US and lived there, maybe. I don't know. Maybe my accent would change. But so far, no progress. 4 years, no progress. This is where I'm at. That's just who I am. This is how I talk. INFJs and INFPs don't share the same functions. Correct. But that doesn't mean that they can't be similar. INFJs and INFPs, on a superficial point of view, they're very alike. They just think about things differently. But we are very alike. We have a great kinship. We have a great connection. We have a lot of similarities. So it's easy to mistype as an INFP or an INFJ. If you look just at the behavioral stuff, what you do, then it can make sense. Both can be quiet, struggle to share, be honest in relationships, have both enjoy peace, harmony, basic stuff. Yeah, there's lots of similarities there. Just look at the cognitive functions. That's where you find out more answers. Cersei Lannister asks about my experiences with ENFJs. That's a good one. My experiences with ENFJs is they are a lot better at building rapport than INFJs. They really take time to make sure that you're connected with each other's. Are we good? Are we friendly? Do we like each other's? I feel that energy coming from ENFJs a lot. ENFJs are constantly checking in with you. Are you happy? Are you good? Are we okay? Are things okay? And For me, that's something that can be a bit unnerving. I have to learn to deal with that sometimes because sometimes I can be quite private and I can be quite calm and I can be quite restrained with my emotions. So I think ENFJs can be nervous by that. He's not sharing, he's not talking, he's not opening up. He must hate me. That's what I can get from ENFJs. So uh, that energy I can struggle with. So I know I have to work on being more emotionally open to connect better with the ENFJs. But I also see that they might need to sometimes take a step back and not expect too much, to constantly try to suck energy from everyone else around you. You can't drag and pull everyone's emotions out. You cannot force it out, let things be, breathe. That's my experience. Mira asks what my dialect is. So I'm from northern Sweden. I grew up in Luleå. So if you look on the map of Sweden, I'm almost at the top there, at the most cold point, close to the Finnish border. But I studied in Uppsala for 4 years. So my northern accent is basically gone. So what I ended up with now is just some kind of in-between Swedish accent. So it's like, yeah, I don't think I have an accent anymore. Yeah, I think it maybe is a little bit more to the Uppsala style, but yeah, it's not a big accent. Just letting my cat out again. Lo says, 4 generations after my ancestors moved to Sweden, and I still have got a bit of a Swedish sounding Minnesota accent. That's cool. That's funny how it survives like that. Ah, låter jag fortfarande som en norrlänning? Tycker ni det? Kanske lite. Yeah, that's Swedish by the way. I was saying, do you really think I sound Swedish? Do you really think I sound like a Northern Swede? I'm a young INFJ with an ESTP mom. Should I laugh or should I cry? You can laugh and cry. I think an ESTP can be great for getting you out there, and I think as an INFJ, getting that can be quite nice. I think your mom can help you with some things. An ESTP can help you with letting go. Don't obsess over things so much. Take it easy. Don't rush yourself. Don't get so obsessed about the future. Live in the moment. Put things aside for a bit and go out and have fun. Balance out your own mind with carefree stuff. But I can also see an ESTP mom being quite overwhelming sometimes, because sometimes you want to think about things, you want to be in your own comfortable shell, you don't need to go out, you don't want to do stuff all the time, you don't want to be rushed, you don't want to feel like things have to happen at once, or the spontaneity can be a bit like messy. So set boundaries. Cry and set boundaries for yourself, and then laugh and have fun together. Just try to find a balance there. Laugh and cry. Cork wants to take my quiz. Yeah, all my personality tests, they are available on ericthor.com. So just go to ericthor.com to take my test. I recommend my personality test. I got another question from Melody's Cloud. What do you think is the difference between oversharing and vulnerability? And we really appreciate your videos, Erik. Honestly, thanks a lot. Thank you so much, Melody. Thank you all for your kind words. I think when you are sharing about your feelings and being vulnerable, I think recognize when you're being defensive. Because there's a difference between being vulnerable and making excuses for yourself, and yeah, I think that's the difference. So basically just look at the space you are sharing from. when you're opening up to somebody about something difficult for yourself, am I excusing myself? Am I being defensive? Am I, um, yeah, where am I coming from when I talk about this? Am I being resentful? Am I projecting on the other person? Am I pushing too much? Uh, try to share and just focus on you and your own emotions and your own feelings, and avoid all the extras, all the put on stuff, all the things around it, and desire to look good for the other person and to explain yourself and to be understood, and also just remember that the other person you're talking to, they're going through stuff too, so make it a two-way street. Don't just make it about yourself. Share your experiences, share your own feelings, say this is what I'm going through, this is difficult for me. What are you going through right now, or how are you doing? Have that two-way street where you can talk and you can share, you can explain yourself, you can talk into them, and then you can listen to and pay attention to their stuff as well. Just try to find that balance as well. I think that might also help with the oversharing stuff. Andrea asks if most people here are from the US or from the Netherlands. More than 50% of my viewers are based in the US, and then a lot of Swedes and some Dutch people. Quite a few Germans as well. Ivory says, I broke up with my ex-INFJ because he felt he knew everything. We used to clash a lot because of it. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, as an INFJ, you have to let go of your own truth and what you think you know. INFJs, they can be so wise and so insightful and so fascinating to listen to. But INFJs should always share from a point of humility. So let go of the TI arrogance, because that's not you as an INFJ, and come into just humility, which means you're speculating, you're theorizing what you share. It's theories, it's ideas. It's not firm evidence, it's not hardcore, you know everything. That's not what it is. So it's a lot easier as an INFJ to connect with people in the tribe if you can be humble in your sharing. I see a lot of INFJs paint themselves into a corner by thinking that they have to be so confident and so cocksure about everything they say to get people to pay attention to them. But you don't need to be that way. You don't need to be arrogant or headstrong about what you think in order to be taken seriously. You can be just open and say, I'm thought about this, I have this theory, I could be wrong, but I feel it could be right, and have that conversation with people. And you're just gonna see it's gonna be a lot easier to connect with people. And in order to have a healthy relationship as an INFJ, you need to let go of your independence a bit, because you're not just one person in a relationship, you're two people. So you have to open up to and let another person into your life. It feels like I'm in person with you and talking. It feels very natural, says Yaya. And I feel the same way. I feel like I'm really just in a group just now, talking with everyone and just having fun and just relaxing. And that's, that's just really nice. Do I like Yaya Ding Dong, Eric? What is that? Hi, by the way, Irene. Nice to have you back again. Welcome back to the chat. INFP with Tom. I always confused myself for being INFJ before. Yeah, a lot of people do. I made a few videos where I talk about INFJ versus INFP. I like this one that I made, the 15 big differences between INFJs and INFPs. So if you're doubting the two types, I would say go check that one out, and afterwards go watch a video from an INFJ just a personal vlog from an INFJ, and then watch a video from an INFP. And I hope that one will speak to you. Yeah, it's very cozy here. It's like a nice Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, not afternoon. Um, just yeah, I wasn't even sure I was gonna live stream today. I was like thinking about it, like, oh, I kind of want to do it. Haven't done it in a long time, and I was like, no, let's go. I just got a new computer as well, and I've had always so much issues with streaming in the past. Now I feel like it's just really smooth and really easy, and the internet is working well, the computer is working well, so that feels really nice as well. Anna says, how to heal your shadow extroverted feeling if you're an INFP. I think lots of vulnerability and just being able to stand in your own truth. And you can worry about what other people will think about you. You can worry about the tribe lashing out at you. You can worry about being misunderstood. You can worry about being manipulated or used as an INFP or being too trusting. You can have all those things. But find a place where you're so comfortable in yourself and in who you are that you know that you can trust yourself around other people. You can trust yourself to be yourself in a group and not be manipulated. You can trust yourself to stand in your own truth no matter what other people say or how other people talk to you. Even if people judge you or even if people misunderstand you, you can be so clear and transparent and honest about yourself that you will clear up any misunderstandings that come along. So find that confidence and certainty in yourself, trust in yourself that I can be myself. And if I can be myself, everything else will work out because people will misunderstand you. They won't always get you. They'll, do stupid things. Yeah. But just find a way to feel comfortable with that. Srikla Shmi says, my parents are ENFJ and they are really toxic and I'm an INFP. I'm sorry to hear that you're struggling with your parents, Striklash. So what I would say, first thing is, have you tried talking with them and just sharing how you feel and what you're struggling with? Just setting some boundaries for yourself. You're saying, okay, I'm struggling with this, or what you're doing here is not feeling very good for me, and this is something I want you to do differently. And can you try talking to me like this? And just also, I'm getting this energy from you too, and I don't feel very good about that. Why is that? Just ask questions and try to figure out, and yeah, set boundaries for yourself as much as possible. Maybe you don't get the answers you want or you're looking for in the conversation with them, but at least you're making your own point clear to yourself. So that's a good start, I think, already to begin with. Can ENFJs be toxic parents? Any personality type can be toxic. Any personality type can struggle, yeah, struggle with life and emotions and everything, in between. Parents never got a good instruction on how to be parents. It's kind of like you're just thrown into it, and you learn and go. So it's never easy, And I will say that my parents were not perfect. My upbringing wasn't perfect. I was not always happy with my parents, and I struggled with a lot of things growing up. But I felt a lot better when I got older, when I got my own place, and when I got my own space. And when I got my own space, then I started thinking that, yeah, I accept whatever happened, and I accept what the situation was and what was going on. And I understand that it wasn't perfect. And I just respect and understand them as humans. I see where they were coming from and why they did what they did and why they were in that situation. And I think, yeah, you have to be fair towards your parents. And then, yeah, I don't think you can expect too much because they're human beings, just like everyone else. So you see, can you forgive your parents and can you let go and can you create your own space where you can feel comfortable? Try to do that if possible, and I understand if you can't. I understand a lot of people can have very big difficulties just when they can't let go of. So yeah, just decide for yourself if you can or not. Decide for yourself, can I see them as human beings? Can I understand and accept their flaws? Can I forgive what's happened and move forward? I'm glad my answer resonated with you. Jennifer Dragonfly. Hi, by the way. Nice to have you in chat again. If it's an easy answer, what type would an unhealthy ENFP look like? Depends on what kind of unhealthiness, but the most unhealthy ENFP will look like an ISTJ. When ENFPs they are at their worst, they become like ISTJs. They become very shut down, very cold, very stiff, very unfeely, very cut off. They shut off their emotions. They go completely cold, silent. They just cut everything else out. They just get very practical. They yeah, kind of become like robots, very machine-like. So that's when the ENFPs at their worst. But yeah, there's lots of layers of unhealthiness, and you can go into a TE frenzy. You can, yeah, lots of things can happen. So you can be unhealthy in many different ways as an ENFP. Madame Desert asks what my zodiac sun sign is. I'm Aquarius, born January 28th. My ascendant was, I think, Cancer, and my moon was Scorpio. I can find astrology very amusing and very fun to read about. Because it can kind of give me another perspective, and it can be like I always end up like looking at how they think about things and how they see things, and I contrast it against how I see it. So I always find it kind of like a fun thing to do. Lolita says, Erik, do you know about giftedness? I researched giftedness, HSP, empathy, intelligence, my whole life. I started looking into it when I was 12 because I wanted to understand why I couldn't relate to my peers. I struggled in school. I didn't connect with anyone. I felt I was a bit more mature than most people. I was interested in philosophy and intellectual subjects that most kids don't care about. So I was struggling in school for a lot of reasons. I came to the idea that, okay, I'm not actually gifted, but I am kind of above, I'm like a bit above average when it comes to intelligence, but I'm not like at the highest level of it, or to the point of a gifted person. I've talked to gifted people, and I can really admire their intellect and how their mind works and how things are. But I can also see that I'm not that person. I'm like somewhere in between, like the average and what qualifies as gifted. But I still really relate to a lot of the things. Like I really also felt like it was hard to talk to people, and it was hard to, have good conversations. I have friends that are truly gifted and super intelligent, and sometimes I just find it fascinating to see how their minds work. Like they can be so abstract. Like sometimes it's really hard for me to follow their reasoning and how they think about things and how they talk. And sometimes they think so fast, and I'm like really I find it really incredible to talk to gifted people. You know, a funny thing is we're all so much more intelligent today than we were 100 years ago. Truth is, people 100 years ago, they were stupid. The average intelligence has increased so much. You wouldn't even think about it because you're looking at America, you're looking at Trump, you're like, oh my God, are people crazy? How are people so stupid? But through this, people are more intelligent today than ever. So have some perspective with that. I think we are more annoyed by stupidity today because we are more intelligent today. Stupidity has become more glaringly obvious than what it was. I mean, in the past, 100 years ago, stupidity was commonplace. People were just really stupid, and intelligence was extremely rare. But today, intelligence is more and more commonplace. And stupidity has become more and more obvious because we're not just accepting it anymore. It's not norm anymore. It's not just an yeah. What is? It's yeah, just a real issue. So it's glaringly obvious. The smarter we get, the more stupid people appear. The more stupid society appears, because the society we live in today was built by the stupid people that lived 100 years ago, and their ideas about a society. Uh, so I think we're also very frustrated by that. School results do not indicate giftedness. No, correct. Uh, Actually, intelligence is also not a predictor of success. I mean, if you look at IQ, it's not a predictor of success at all. Emotional intelligence is an actual predictor of success. People that are emotionally intelligent are more likely to get promotions and to be successful in life. People with IQ, a bit more up and down. There are people that have high IQs that are super successful, but there are also people with high IQs that really suffer in school because they're not motivated by school. And I think there's a difference between having a high IQ and being, for example, an intuitive. And there I see a lot of conflation. A lot of people think, okay, he's smart, so he's an intuitive. What I've come to find is intuitive people can think that they are smart because they learn fast. They absorb new information quickly. They figure things out fast. But they lack the other edge of intelligence, because the other edge of intelligence is grit. Intelligence is not just figuring things out, but it's also knowing how to persist with something. So if you're truly intelligent, you're not just able to figure things out. You're not just able to read a book fast. You're not just able to figure out how physics works quickly, or to understand reasoning quickly. But you're also able to persist with an activity and to have the energy and stamina, mental stamina, to keep learning and to keep pushing your mind to the next level. Intelligence requires you not just to learn fast, but also to keep learning and to keep pushing yourself. Intelligence is not what people think it is, because a lot of people, they assume that, oh, I can't learn this because I'm stupid, or I can't learn this because I'm not intelligent enough, or I can the reason I'm good at this is because I'm intelligent. Well, the reason you can learn about things and the reason you can be successful is two factors. You're intelligent, but you also have grit. You also push through and persevere. Yeah, zero grit. Yeah, I know how you're feeling. Intuitives can really struggle with grit. Uh, Grit is definitely more in the domain of sensing, and sensing types have more grit than intuitive types on average. They're more disciplined, they persist more in activities, they find like what I see in school is like intuitives, they learn fast, but sensors, they just keep learning, keep pushing themselves, keep working hard at things. Might not get into them as quickly, but they keep going, they keep studying. Grit, growth, memorization, they keep figuring it out, keep working at it until they uh, yeah, uh, at some point they can be even more academically successful than intuitives. They can do better in school. They can do better. They can reach higher end careers because they didn't change the subject halfway through. They didn't start up a project they never finished. They didn't get lost in Wikipedia pages and forget to study. All those things those can really help sensors succeed over intuitives. But don't worry, as an intuitive, you can learn that too. You can work on that in yourself. You can develop that too. Irene asks how to accept oneself. I think this is a bit cheesy, but write love letters to yourself, reward yourself for accomplishments, celebrate success, brag about things you did well, and also do things that will make you feel proud of yourself. It can be something simple as making the bed in the morning. Every day if you make the bed when you wake up, you have that good feeling that I made the bed in the morning, and that's something good I did. Do those small things that make you feel proud, and also just try not to brush away, you know, when you do good things and say, oh, it was nothing, and oh, I don't avoid it. Just I did this and it was good and I'm happy with it. You know, have that. I think that helps. Uh, it's quite late here. I'm quite tired, so I think I'm gonna round off. But thank you all for joining in. And Ian, when am I gonna read the love letters I've written to myself? I'll show you one sometime. Why not? But yeah, you guys were awesome. I had a blast. We should definitely do this again sometime. And yeah, if you want to talk to me more, once again, just send me a message on Patreon. And yeah, I'm always happy to check in with everyone. And yeah, I hope to see you guys in my next video.